let's please welcome Alyssa Tchaikovsky!
All right. What a good-looking audience. Just kidding, I can't see any of you. These lights are like the fucking sun. I'm gonna talk about fears because everyone has them. And as a child, you think that when you become an adult, you grow out of these fears, but in reality, they only become more real and slightly terrifying. Like, instead of the boogeyman or the dark, it's defaulting on a mortgage, getting Ebola, or dropping your iPhone, because that's like an $800 mistake. And I'm not gonna lie, I have a slightly irrational fear that I'm gonna die alone, single, and in the company of 23 or so cats. And they don't have an anxiety disorder for that yet, I know, because I looked. But I'm going to self-diagnose myself with crazy cat lady phobia. And if you ask my ex-boyfriend, he'll tell you that I'm already crazy. But good luck finding him. He may or may not be in the trunk of my car. Craziness aside, I don't know why this is one of my fears because I don't even like cats. And I'm pretty sure they don't like me. Anytime I've ever gone to a friend's house that has a cat, the same thing happens. And I love how people who have cats have disclaimers. They're like, oh, you can pet Fifi, she's friendly. And you go in and you look down at Fifi, and Fifi looks up at you, and you look back down at Fifi. And then she starts rubbing up against your leg and purring all nice, like as if to say, pet me, I'm friendly. So you're like, oh, it's a good idea to pet Fifi. So you reach down, and then she tries to bite your fucking hand off. And that's why I hate cats. But I also don't want to be alone, so I made the mistake every other 24-year-old has made and downloaded, wait for it, Tinder. Solution to everything. The great thing about Tinder, at least from a woman's perspective, is that it's a lot like online shopping. You see a picture of a man, you don't like him, you swipe left and you keep shopping. But if you do like him, you're like, oh, does he come in different colors? And they usually do. And you swipe right and he gets added to your cart. And if you add him to your cart and he adds you to his cart, then the Tinder gods smile upon you. Oh, there's this message, it's a match. And it's exciting. And then they woo you with really heartfelt, sentimental messages. Like, sorry, Dad, sit on my face. Or, I want to stuff you like a Thanksgiving turkey. And that's when you wish Tinder really was like online shopping, because then you could leave reviews such as, item description, promise 6-foot intellectual charming man from Harvard. However, actual man shipped 10 days late on a throne of lies and broken promises and an associate's degree from Nova. So I guess you could say because of buyer's remorse that I deleted Tinder. And I'm gonna give you a disclaimer, I grew up with allergies. Yeah, I was that kid that was allergic to peanuts. And yeah, right, sucks. Also, a ruiner of childhood birthdays because I was allergic to eggs and chocolate. Try going to the grocery store and buying something delicious without those 3 ingredients. You won't find it. But they tell you every 7 years that you will grow out of your allergies. So when I was 14, I went back to the allergist, whom I like to call life ruiners because every time you go, they tell you you're allergic to things you didn't know you could be allergic to, like algae and tree pollen. I was like, trees have pollen? Isn't that what the flowers are for? So when I was 14, they were like, congratulations, you're no longer allergic to delicious things. You're now allergic to the environment. Here's an inhaler, have fun in gym. So, because I couldn't get a man, I decided to get a man's best friend, which is a perfectly tolerable substitute for a non-existent boyfriend. But in order for that to happen, I had to go back to the allergist, to make sure I magically grew out of those allergies as well. And if you've never been to the allergist before, here's what happens. They give you like a scratch test, and they scratch your arms a bunch of times, but then, they're not done. They then poke you with 1,000 needles, so you end up swelling like a balloon in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Preferably Snoopy, because he's my favorite. So I'm sitting at the allergist, all swollen and disgusting, and the allergist comes in and he's like, I'm afraid to have some bad news. And I was like, what now? And he's like, well, it looks like you're allergic to almost all creatures with fur. And I was like, so men? Because that makes sense. He was like, No, not men, but we can get you tested for that. He was like, well, do you see that baseball-sized welt on your arm? And I was like, oh yeah, this guy. He's like, well, that is dog. You're allergic to dogs. Like a lot, not a little, a lot. And that's really not what I wanted to hear. So I had a major meltdown at the allergist, and it kind of went like this. You're a life ruiner. I just wanted a puppy. I'm gonna die alone. And he's like trying to console me. He's like, well, you could always get a turtle. I was like, I don't want a turtle. And he's like, well, you could always get a fish. I was like, that's stupid. And he looks at his clipboard and he's like, well, the good news is, like I said, you're not allergic to all creatures with fur. It turns out you're not allergic to cats. So you can get all the cats that you would like. How does that sound? How does that sound? And that's the day I grew out of not my allergies, but my fears, because I turned to him and I said, in a serious voice, I would rather die alone. Thanks, guys.
Alyssa Chitkowski.